Hello, 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 and welcome. Welcome. How's everyone today? I wasn't going to do a live today. I don't know. I've been feeling really, should I do live? Should I not do lives? What's going on? But then I just felt like, no, you got to do a live. I know. Here I am. So I'm doing a live. That was my dilemma. And the other dilemma I have is that I brought the wrong eyebrow color for the person who doesn't have eyebrows anymore because they fell out. So I bought the wrong color, but fuck it. I'm going to use it anyways. And you get to the age where you just like really don't give a shit and everybody looks at you weird anyways. It's half the shit that you wear or half the shit that you say. So, really doesn't matter at the end of the day, does it? So there you go. Oh, you think it looks good? Thank you. Well, it matches. It matches my sweater. It was chilly down here, so I put my sweater on. So what's going on, my peeps? What's going on? Well, oh man, Gemini energy. Woo! If you're not, so we have a stellium in Gemini. So right now we have the Sun, Venus, and they're in a Gazini. And a Gazini is when the Sun and um, the Sun kind of engulfs that planet, and it looks like it's burning it up. So it's called a Gazini. So it's really where I'm going to call it when Venus kisses the heart of the Sun, and they're in this for 3 days. So it's a 3-day dance that they're doing until Venus reappears on the other side of the new moon after the new moon in the evening. So she's going to for the evening star, and she's going to be the evening star for the next 9 months till Venus goes retrograde in 9 months from now, which will be in Aries and then into Pisces. So we have Venus, there and with the new moon. So she's in sort of the dark phases of the moon. We call it the devil moon. And as we're coming into the new moon, which is tomorrow, we also have Jupiter. Woohoo! Jupiter's there, Mercury's there. And so we have like 5 planets dancing around Gemini. Now, Gemini doesn't mind, some activity. Geminis, they don't really, I'm gonna say they don't mind people, but it's all depending on the people that they have around. It's like, they love to converse, they love to talk to people, and then they move on. They don't like um sort of people that sort of hang out too much. Not that they don't want the company, but they would, you know, they don't mind the company, but it's kind of like chosen company. But it's okay for the Gemini to leave. The Gemini can leave, but you all have to stay where you are, but the Gemini can leave. So it's kind of a weird type of energy, and especially with so much coming in there and Venus being there. And Venus is all about our relationships, our money. She rules Taurus, she rules Libra. So she really wants to bring in a foundation there, but we can't see her right now. And she's in Gemini. And so Mercury's coming in, and Mercury's the ruler of Gemini. And he's kind of like looking around, looking in his house, saying, whoa, there's a lot of energy in my house. What the hell's going on? Who invited everybody to this party in my house? Now, Mercury's not going to stay very long in Gemini. He's going to be like just popping in and out and, talking to everybody along the way. And then he's going to grab Venus in a week or so. And then those two are going to go on to Cancer. So we have this sort of burst of energy. Now, with this burst of energy, for some people, it might be causing anxiety. It might be causing exhaustion. Headaches, migraines might be on the increase for some people. And it just might be where we are just trying to race through things too quickly and not take our time to really look at the facts or look at what is coming in. So we might be feeling a little bit of like antsy kind ofness that's there. So there's a little bit of antsiness that's coming in with this energy. Now we do have Mars sitting at the end of Aries at 29 degrees. That's explosive. That's all I can say, explosive. And this is where things are going to pop off. And they could pop off in a very positive way. They can pop off in a negative way. This is where, with all that Gemini energy, it's like almost where you want to get through Clown Town. You want to get through the craziness and It might be a heightened sense of fear, and Mars is coming in and wants to get you through, like just pull you through and say, "Fuck it, let's go," kind of thing, right? And get you going. And if you are not wanting to go, Mars is like saying, "Well, that's too bad, sweetheart. Get the fuck in the back car and hop in the trailer, or hop in the trunk, or hop in the back of the 4x4, and off we're going." It's kind of that kind of energy, because Mars is not going to argue about it. It's just like, I'm doing it, and I'm home, and I'm the god of war, and this is what I'm doing, and screw you all, you know. And we had that last little bit of where the Mars, where the moon and Uranus, and Mercury and Uranus, and that all met, and now Uranus is by itself. First time. First time in over a year, it's by itself, looking around and really taking a real deep look. So that Taurus energy, taking a deep look on what are the things do I need to consider in my world? What are the things that I need to look at in my world? What are the priorities that are important for my world? And here we have Uranus looking at all of this. And now Uranus is one that he's going to do it. He is the higher spectrum of Mercury. He's the lord of the heavens, the lord of the sky. So, and Mercury is the one, of the lore, the learning, and wanting to learn and understand things. And Uranus is taking it to the higher extent. So we have this higher extent, and it's like, wow, we're going this way. And it's a swoosh in direction. So all of a sudden you got detours coming in, and you're feeling those detours, and you're feeling like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? How is this going to unfold for me? How am I going to be able to move forward? Do I have to restart everything? And we got to come back. We got to come back to basics, and we got to come back to the beginner's mind. We got to come back to the simplicity of it. And when we can come back into the simplicity, when we can come back into that sweetness, that sweet spot of who we are in that essence, we can breathe, and we can try not to overreact to things, because everything is on an escalation, and a big escalation, and we're feeling that escalation within ourselves and within the world around us. Even though we might feel, or we might say, well, my life's going okay, but I'm feeling a little bit antsy. Or we might say, oh my God, my life's in chaos. What the fuck do I need to do right now? Kind of thing. So we have that. And there's some, beautiful trines over to Pluto, which is nice. I mean, the last time, if we look at when Pluto and Jupiter were together, the last time, nuzzled up together in a conjunction, it was back in around 2021. And that nuzzling up was sort of like a completing a lot of getting a lot of information, looking at where we're going to do, what we are going to build, how we are going to build it, how are we going to take it forward into our new world. And our new world is Aquarius. How are we going to take it, and how are we going to connect with others with this new information that we are wanting to create within our mundane world. And this trine is a trine that's never happened in our lifetime before, because, well, one, we've never had Pluto in Aquarius before, in a trine like this. And this is where this energy of transformation and change in the Phoenix is coming in, where Jupiter wants to expand it, wants to say, hey, Pops. Hey, Hades, what are you doing out there, man? This is Jupe. I am Zeus. I'm Zeus. And so we have Zeus and Hades. Now, in the, in Greek mythology, they're brothers. So we have these two brothers, and they're in a nice aspect to each other. One is the brother of the underground, and the other one is the god, part of the god realm. And here we have this trine of saying, how can we create something positive upon this plane, upon this earth? And they're both in air signs. So there's a lot of ideas flying around. a lot of ideas. How are we going to do it? This is what we're going to do. This is how we should do it. So we're going to have a lot of crazy ideas and a lot of information that's going to be coming out for us, and it's going to get expanded. Things are going to get blown out of proportion with the information that's going to come forth. And it is where we have to have that discernment on what the information is that's coming forward, whether it's, does that work for me or doesn't it work for me? Is that in my alignment or not my alignment? So there's all going to be a lot of discerning that we are going to have to do over the course of this next little while. And especially as we're coming in, as we came into that trine. Now we have Mercury coming in, and it's making a trine over there to Pluto, and it's saying, hey, I'll see you in a little bit, because I'm not going to be in Gemini very long, and I'm moving very, 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 very quickly. So I'll eventually come and see you. And give you the download of what's everything going on. And Pluto's going, yeah, that's great. I can hardly wait to see you. I hope you're having a great time. Things are going well. These are the communities that are being built. And it's like, again, here comes Mercury saying, okay, what is that communication that's coming in on the humanity, on the humanitarian, on that sector of social aspect and connection, on friendships, because we're coming down to Gemini, and Gemini likes friends. It likes some, like some friends, very selective on the people that it likes to hang out with. Um, and so it's like, okay, so that means I have to really start communicating with the people that I really want to communicate with. So there's a lot that's coming in that we are exploring at this time as we are coming into a new moon. This new moon is powerful. It is a moon that comes in with Venus on the other side. It is a moon that comes in with this, from this Kazini to this transformation that's bringing forth, something new and setting forth a new birth, right? Because in 9 months, she's going retrograde in Aries. So there's a birthing process that's happening, or a birth that just happened. So it is this that we are creating. We're still not sure exactly what that's going to form or what that's going to look like. So there's something, there's energetic frequencies that are coming in that is giving form to something new. And this something new is bringing in a transformation into our world. And this transformation that's coming into our world is bringing in a newness of how we are going to communicate, how we are going to connect, and how we are wanting to learn about the newness and these new frequencies that are coming in. It again, then the overwhelmness and everything can really take place, and everything else, can we can be very overreactive with a lot of the um with a lot of these frequencies that are coming in. We can't leave Saturn out of it, because Saturn's over in Pisces. So there's a square over to Pisces and with Saturn. So Saturn, as he's looking over things, he's the ruler, he's a big dude. We had the shadow reality with him and Uranus, and that shattered reality with him and Uranus in 2021, and them squaring for most of the year and into 2022. Of how we reacted and how we may have fallen to the old ways, to the beliefs of the old realm, and where now, these squares that are coming to Saturn are saying, if you fell, are you still trying to hold up the old realm? Are you still trying to hold up the old? Or are you wanting to step into the new realm? Are you wanting to step into the newness? Now, in stepping into the newness, it's unknown. And stepping into this new realm is coming into a place where you want to have the old boundaries. Yet, in having the old boundaries, that means you're still giving homage to the old ways and the old ways of doing things. this is where it's not saying that, okay, we won't have certain things that will transfer into the new ones, but they're going to be upgraded. They're going to be upgraded into something more and something that can be more utilized. For instance, right now, iPhone, all Apple are going to be upgraded, and their upgrades before would have a part of them. I'm not a computer person, so you got to follow me with this. A part of them that would still try to assimilate some of the old ways of doing things into the new, right? And this new upgrade that's coming in is saying, no, we're not taking any of the old. We're not taking any of the old stuff. We're done. It's this way. We're doing it this way. This is a new upgrade. This is how we're doing. Same with Windows 10. You're going to find that there's not going to be any support for a Windows 10 anymore. So it's not, with any upgrades that are going to be coming in, it's like if you don't have a new motherboard to support it, it's not going to support. It's going to cry. It's not, it's just not going to work, right? It's not saying it's not going to be a computer anymore, but it's going to be an upgraded system. And that's what's happening with this square over to Saturn. It's an upgrade. It's an upgrade, and Saturn is in Pisces. And the thing is that he doesn't really like to be in Pisces because Pisces wants expansion and Saturn wants contraction. It wants to keep things the old way in something that wants to expand, wants to explore, wants to see. And Jupiter is in a place for a year that it wants to expand, it wants to learn, it wants to do all this thing in a place that says, no, we got to do it in the beginner's way. We got to do it one step at a time. We can't overload. So now we're coming into some really big energy of overload. And as we come into these frequencies that are coming into overload, this is where we're going to find a lot of things coming out and igniting in different ways because it needs a place to release a lot of this energy, things that you'll find. So we have Pisces. Pisces rules water. So we're going to find things that are going to go on with the oil and gas industry. We're going to find things that are going to go on with the water, what's going on with the waters, crazy hurricanes, um, you know, um, things that are going to be happening with water, whether it's going to be that you're going to have water issues, we're going to have floods. So different, flooding in different areas that didn't think they would have flooding. So we're going to have an excess amount of water in certain areas. And then we might find in other areas, there's not going to be as much water. We're going to find a lot of turbulence when it comes to the earth. So a lot of shaking of the earth because it's shaking, moving, creating something. Something there is being shifted. And within this shift is going to get other things to begin to explode. So there could be more volcanic explosions that are going to be happening, different earthquakes in different areas that are going to be happening. So when it comes to a lot of this wanting to expand and contract and expand and contract, this is where you're going to find a frustration come in. So you got to look at it within your own life, what that expansion and contraction is. Expansion and contraction, is happening within your life. And where you need to sort of like, oh, okay, that's just way too much expansion for me. And, or way, I don't want to be contracted so little. I don't want to be forced into this bottle and shoved in like I dream a genie, shoved in the bottle, corked in. No, I don't want that. I want to be able to come out. I want to be able to walk around. I want to be choosing. I want to be able to connect. I want to allow for the expansion to come in a flow, in a way that I'm able to connect with my divine and not have thunderbolts coming into me and me getting overloaded and then sick. Because that's the next thing is that you're going to find people getting sick because of an overload. It could be a sickness because of Gemini ruling, either the kidneys or the lungs. And then with Uranus and with Neptune in, not Uranus, but Neptune in Pisces, we have that of a lot of water. So water on the lungs, kidney issues, people, water issues, water problems with people. So maybe you're, yeah, as I was mentioning the other day, urinary infections and things like that. So all of these are going to be heightened over the next. I'm going to say this week, but we're going to, because Jupiter's going to be there for a year. This is going to happen over the next little while. And this is where we're going to feel a lot of this kind of contraction and expansion coming in. And this contraction and expansion coming in, where we are going to have to figure out our timeouts and where we can just go and, reclaim our energies, so we're not feeling so contracted and expanded all the time. And we're not feeling like we're being thrown um, into the middle of a disco ball, a disco. They said a disco ballroom, just like everybody's just going, and they're, they're doing their thing. They're just out there, they're dancing, they're throwing their hands and everything around, and you're just trying to duck everything. It reminds me when I was a kid. Penticton hosts the largest outdoor square dance in Penticton. I'm not sure if they still do, but anyway, square dancing was a huge thing. And what we would love to do, terrible children we would like to sneak into to the event. It was easy enough to do because we could just hop the fence, climb up the fence and hop over. But we'd like to go and break up the squares. And sometimes kind of join in on the squares where we weren't supposed to join in, and then break up some squares where we're not supposed to. So we'd cause a little bit of havoc and do things like that. And that's what I feel like sometimes what we're going to be doing is causing a little bit of havoc. So a little bit of havoc. Maybe we're not causing it, but there's going to be frequencies or energies that are going to be coming in that's causing that crazy havoc in our world right now. And it's like, how are you going to relate to it? And how are you going to um, connect with it? So, there's a lot of change in things that are going on. But this is where I feel if you're living in certain areas in the world, I feel like, yeah, there's going to be havoc, but understanding that there's still going to be a place where you're going to find more peace than if you lived in other places in the world where you won't be feeling the peace as much. So the havoc and the um are going to feel a lot more of the crazy that's happening there. So yeah. I don't want to go too deep in a lot of the things that are going to be coming forward. I just want us to be able to keep ourselves grounded and keep ourselves focused and keep focusing on the light. And when we do that, then we can focus more on anchoring in some beautiful new frequencies that are coming in, and keeping ourselves on the eagle perch, so we're not getting gobbled up by the vultures that are coming down and trying to descend upon us and cause that chaos. And I feel like more and more of that frequency of trying to create chaos in the lives of the people are becoming more and more prevalent this year than ever. So I have my moon readings. They're on for $40. If you are wanting to get a moon reading, you can definitely get a moon reading. They're $40. We also have the moon and full moon bundle. The new moon and full moon bundle are that you will receive 2 readings each month, beginning with this new moon reading till the end of the year for the new moon and full moon readings. And that's going to be $300. It's over a $200 savings. So if you spent $40 on every reading twice a month, so $80 a month till the end of the year, that's a lot of money, just saying. So this is a nice savings for you till the end of the year. And we're halfway in between. We're coming up to the summer solstice and between the summer solstice and the winter solstice. So we're coming up to that halfway point of the year. And this is where we start to really take a look at the directions that we want to create and put forward in our realm. So, because it's just going to start getting crazy. So I put up on my Facebook if people can answer my question, whether you think the 0.25 um, reduction on by the Bank of Canada is a good thing or a negative thing. Just let me know what you think. No judgment on that. I just, whatever it is, whatever you think. If you think it's a great thing and you think, oh, great, I'm going to start saving, cool. I was going to write up another one too, is if Turban Man wants to control our food prices. Do you think that's a good thing? As soon as I heard that, for me personally, what I thought was China and how and Russia and how they controlled the prices, which meant that certain things were not allowed anymore. Certain things weren't allowed on the shelves anymore because they were controlling the prices and they would dictate that, oh, that would be too expensive. Feels like a setup for something. Feels like a setup for something? Yes, it does feel like a setup for something. Charlene said no. It's not a good thing. Okay. So, yeah, it is interesting. I know in the States right now, the kids are out of school. And for many of the places that are usually busy right now, where families go out for vacation and stuff, are basically dead. They're not very busy right now. So, do you think that's going to play up in Canada here? Do you think a lot of places are not going to be as busy this year? Let's say Stampede. Do you think Stampede's going to be down this year? I'm laughing because the thing is that if people okay, if Albertans have they don't even need a fucking excuse to drink or party, but Stampede, do you think there's going to be a reduction in people taking their kids to those um to those functions or to those things? Or even when it comes to right now music festivals. This is time for music festivals. Some big music festivals and that are going to be coming up during the spring and the summer and stuff like that. Um are less people going to be going to that? Or are people just we're saving for that and that's what we're going to do for the summer? That's our summer thing kind of. So interesting things to look at. Interesting. And we pull the hangman. So yeah, it is very interesting. The hangman comes in. I don't know if Canada will feel it this year, but probably more in the new year. Interesting. Yeah, that could be. Yeah. So it will be interesting. That's my word. It's interesting. It's like she keeps saying interesting. What does she mean? It's interesting. So yeah, so it's taking a perspective of things. Take a step back, take a look at things. It is, looking at the perspective and not getting caught up in the center of it. There was a in France, they have found that they've been putting the Star of David on Jewish homes so that you can identify a Jewish home. And then they have been putting red um, handprints on the memorial for the Holocaust victims. And then they found, I think, 4 cotton coffins draped with the French flag on them. And so it's very interesting, when you start seeing that, where it's being, and they said it's being sort of implemented from Russia. They're saying Russia did this. It's sort of like a little psyops or things that Russia's doing. Russia hasn't claimed anything. They haven't said anything. But there was a movie that came out earlier on this year with the executive producer. The Obamas were the executive producers on it. And that's sort of, they're suggesting that maybe this is sort of in trying to cause civil unrest within the country. Am I the only one that's a wee bit alarmed about anything that says segregation? I think a lot of people are alarmed with anything that says segregation, but here's the thing. There is a thing. There is a thing, and it's interesting. Here's the thing. Uh, Many don't understand what that segregation is. It's like when somebody says the Gaza Strip is apartheid, and I know this is controversial. I understand. But if you don't understand what apartheid is or separation is, what that is. Now, we can go um down into Africa. And there you would have seen the real apartheid in around Johannesburg and in all those different parts of South Africa, and what apartheid was. And these apartheid was that these people had nothing. Nothing. Okay? Now, and in bringing in Nelson Mandela. Now, Nelson Mandela at that time was part of the ANC, the African National Congress, and the African National Congress was really trying to work to bring the country together. But this is where they had nothing, like absolutely nothing. No food, no running water, no proper education. Everything was segregated within there, right? Um you go down to the United States in the 1960s, it was segregated. And within that segregation, like, there was separate bathrooms for blacks and whites. There were separate beaches for blacks and whites. You could not marry a black man. You cannot marry, or a black woman could not, marry a white man. It was just you stayed in your own section, and that was it. The jobs you got were the jobs you got. You worked in service. That's segregation. That's apartheid. Um, yes, there's a lot of politics that are happening there in the Middle East, with that, and then I'm going to go for what Lexi, in what Lexi was saying about the alarming, is that people don't understand what the government of that area over there wants. They want segregation. When you go over to the other side, they don't want segregation. Okay, it might seem like it. I know there's a lot of politics, there's a lot of other things, but I'm just looking at it from a bird's eye view. I'm not getting into the politics and all of that, but I'm looking at it from a bird's eye view and taking it from a bird's eye view and saying, hmm, over here, over here, they don't like me. They don't like me as a woman. They don't like me as a psychic. They don't like me as a medium. They don't like me as an astrologer. They don't like me because I'm married to a man of a different color. They don't like me because I was born into a religion called Catholicism. Hmm, that's over here. Over here is like, okay, you want to be a psychic, you want to be a medium, you want to be an astrologer, you want to do, well, go ahead, you could do that. You wanna be Catholic, you wanna be rich, you wanna okay, you could be that. But if I try and go into the other nations that are in alignment with this one over here, they wanna kill me. They don't like me. But we have a collection of people who don't understand that. As Lexi says, first it's a star and then it's a tattoo. Don't understand that segregation, don't understand what it is. It's like, people, say, well, why do we have to have two genders? We have to have two genders so that women can have the rights that they have fought for and have that understanding. But again, a lot of people don't understand that. They're not educated in it and they've lost their way. And here, when I say things are going to get explosive, huh, they're not gonna get fun. There's some crazy things happening on the East Coast right now, and it's gonna get a little bit muddy this summer. Just say. It's just gonna get muddy. So you have to get a new perspective for things. All right? A new perspective. And as you're getting a new perspective, make sure you don't get caught up in all the bullshit of it. Take the blinders off. Learn what it's all about. Because when somebody says death to a nation, doesn't matter what nation it is, my alarms go up because if it's death to that nation, and I'm pretty close to that nation, and that nation has some similarities to for what I believe in, I'm gonna take the blinders off because a lot of stuff has already been set in play. Things have been set in play. And there's a lot of people that aren't taking that blinders off, and we want to rise above it, want to rise above. And I know not everybody agrees with what I'm saying and they want to go, but if you have daughters, think twice to what you are standing up for. Okay? So start thinking twice for what you're standing up for, because what you might be thinking that you're standing up for seems really great, but in the end result, think about your daughters, your granddaughters, your nieces, your nephews, your friends' little girls, and their rights. Because there's going to be a whole bunch of crazy is going to come down. And this Gemini energy is just switching on the light for it, because that's what Gemini does. Remember, it's a twin. So it can switch on the light very easily for a bunch of bullshit to come in. And we got to stay in our light, right? So, I mean, everybody's to their opinion, and sending everybody out such love and light. So I have to go and pick up my grandson right now. So sending you guys out so much love, and may the Lord Almighty watch over and bless each and every one of you, and all you say and all you be and all you do. Let your light shine. Order your bundle of readings till the end of the month for $300. And yes, I do payment plans if you're interested. And we will talk to you very soon. We'll see what kind of cray is coming forward. Let's go. All right. Have a blessed one. Bye-bye.